people just want to gamble whenever they have a big win.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
Hey, Walter, let's talk about blowing out after a big win. So there's a tendency for some people to blow out their account after they've had a big winner. How do you fix that, and what do you think causes that?
Well, probably overconfidence. It's like a team. So if a team has a really big blowout win, and then the next game they might estimate their abilities, right? As we record this, the Miami Dolphins, they had a big win, like 70-20, 2 weeks ago, and then this week they lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get blown out. It's kind of like that, right? Where you as a trader, you have a really nice win streak, or you just have an amazing win. I remember when I won, I had, I think, 2 trades that won during the Corona freakout of March 2020. I remember one was New Zealand Swiss, and I don't know if the other one was New Zealand yen, or maybe New Zealand dollar. I had 2 trades that were just going and going, and you start high-fiving yourself thinking that you're so amazing, right? And then so that can lead to overconfidence and maybe taking on too much risk or doing something a little bit off on the next trade. So you really have to put the focus on execution and not on, oh, I'm so good, or my abilities, or my system, or whatever. So it's a bit tricky that way. But I mean, it's the same thing. You're never as bad as you feel when you're in a drawdown. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing as that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I would kind of add too that sometimes people just want to gamble whenever they have a big win, and they want to multiply it up quickly. Yeah. So I mean, what you're talking about is if you actually have a system and you're actually going through it systematically, but there are other types of traders who just want to gamble. So I think that's another thing to watch out for.
Yeah, it's true. It's just, I almost feel like one way to look at trading is have you ever seen when you go bowling and they put those big blow up things in the gutter? Yeah, in the gutter. I feel like trading is almost like that. It's like, there's all these pitfalls, and there's these gutters, and so you're the trader and you're the bowling ball going down the bowling out the lane or whatever, and you have to have these things blown up in the gutter so that you bounce off of them and you don't go in. And I feel like it's like overconfidence, underconfidence, too much risk, too many tweaks to your system. There's all these things. A lot of it comes down to confidence, really. Mm-hmm. And you can build that by back testing, by doing your homework, essentially. But yeah, I feel like, it's almost like we have to set up these balloons so that we bounce off of them and we don't end up in the wrong spot as a trader. So it's a bit tricky that way. But once you realize that, it does get easier, I think. I think mm-hmm. when you don't know what you don't know, like in the beginning when you first start trading, you don't know that this is the thing. But then later on you realize, okay, the thing is me. I gotta keep myself on track. Mm-hmm. And then once you do that, it becomes a lot easier, because you start focusing you've done a lot of work on yourself and a lot of looking at different avenues, and let's try this, let's try that, and you're sort of sampling different tools and techniques and disciplines. And it's in the end, I feel like we all end up there. We all end up at the point where it's okay, training is really about understanding myself and anticipating the mistakes I may make, and being aware of when I'm overconfident or underconfident, mm-hmm. or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the game. I mean, I know in the beginning it's all about the system, and it's oh wow, this system makes 80% last month or whatever. But in the end, that's just like a tool. It doesn't really matter what type of paintbrush you use. You just have to know how to paint, and mm-hmm. And that comes from understanding yourself, really, in trading. So it's a fun journey, though. It's fun. You get to do things that other people don't get to do. In terms of understanding yourself, a lot of people, you could go through life and not really, if you're a security guard or something, it may be harder to understand who you are, but in trading, it is good that way, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's I see it as one of the best forms of self-development in terms of if you aren't trading well, then that's going to be very obvious on your P&L. And if you are, then you'll have a positive P&L. So I think that's an easy metric to look at in terms of how you're developing yourself.
Definitely. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Walter.
Thank you.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.